Hello there, everyone. Sorry, I'm laughing already. This is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, you've got so you've got two of the biggest charlatans talking to each other here. You've got Dan Wootton on the left. You've got 30p Lee Anderson on the right. Um, the subject of Andrew Marr comes up. Now, Andrew Marr, as we know, has left the BBC. He left the BBC quite a while ago. He revealed to the New Statesman, I think in a podcast or an interview, that he's hoping for a Labour win at the next general election, right? Now, seeing as Andrew Marr left the BBC a long time ago, how on earth can these two losers have a problem with him coming out in support of a Labour government? Well, let's just have a look, shall we?
Now, look, from The Guardian to the BBC, I couldn't believe this week. I know, I'm triggering you.
Yeah.
I'm triggering you with all of this trauma. But look, I wanted to show you this because it's Andrew Marr, right, who was, of course, up until the end of 2021, the biggest political presenter of the BBC, the person who had to interview Boris all the time, and we always thought he came to it with an agenda. Well, now he has revealed his agenda to the New Statesman. Look at this.
As somebody who wants a Labour victory at the next election, is that I'm alarmed that perhaps Labour is underestimating Rishi Sunak, and I think the Prime Minister is doing far better.
So, Lee, that was the bloke that we were meant to trust at all of the critical points like Brexit, the Red Wall, and he's now openly admitting that he wants a Labour government. I mean, the BBC is crooked, isn't it?
It is. I mean, he's only telling us, Dan, what we already know. We know the BBC is completely biased. We know, like, The Guardian, it hates our country. It's always apologising. Every time he switches it on, I don't switch it on, by the way. But, you know, they're always apologising for our history, our culture, just like The Guardian. And this Andrew Marr clip, it's actually quite disgusting. You know, actually, this is a taxpayer-funded organisation, supposed to be unbiased, supposed to be impartial, supposed to give us the correct news, you know, the correct reporting on politics. And what do we find out now? That all along, a wolf in sheep's clothing is on our screens, pushing his own political agenda. It's absolutely disgusting.
Plus, they haven't done anything to deal with Gary Lineker after the disgusting comparison that he made to your party, which is actually, by the way, doing the humane thing by trying to stop the boats, because if you don't stop the boats, you're empowering people smugglers and disgusting criminal gangs. And he compares that to Nazi Germany. I mean, and he's still in a job.
Well, it's another case, Dan, of sweeping stuff under the carpet. It's a cover-up. We know it's a cover-up. Look, I stopped paying my BBC licence many, many years ago. Stood up in that place in Parliament, say, they won't get another penny off me. They're letting the British public down. They're constantly attacking us as a party, as a government. That, like I say, they hate our history and our culture. And, you know, people don't take it as seriously as they used to. It's supposed to be an impartial, taxpayer-funded organisation that covers, you know, all of us, all our opinions, but it doesn't. It's quite clearly biased, and Andrew Marr proves it.
So let me attempt to get my head around this. He's saying, if you're an employee of the BBC or you're a freelancer contracted to the BBC, you aren't allowed to have a political opinion. He's also saying, if you don't work for the BBC, which Andrew Marr doesn't, you also cannot have a political opinion. Can I just point out the completely bleeding obvious? Andrew Neil worked at the BBC for ages. He left the BBC and he formed GB News. And I think acted as the chairman. Hello, Lee? Any problem with that? Lee? I guess not. 30p Lee here is failing to take into account Andrew Marr did not, absolutely 100% did not want a Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour government. We all know that. Lee, I have news for you. Andrew Marr wants a Labour government because your lot are so crap. And in Andrew Marr's mind, there's a man in the centre now, Keir Starmer, who is tolerable for him. Whereas your lot are racist, bigoted, intolerable fools. Now, I can't be certain that's his logic, but I'm pretty sure it is. God, the idea that if you've ever worked for the BBC, you now... Wait a minute, what's her face? Hold on. This lady, former BBC employee. She's a GB News host who spouts anti-Labour rhetoric constantly. Anything to say about that, Lee? No? So here's what Lee Anderson is pushing for. I think I've worked it out. He wants to ban anti-Tory rhetoric across the board. Like a true fascist. Would we be hearing about this story if Andrew Marr came out and said, I'm supporting Rishi Sunak at the next election? Ha! Do me a favour, Lee. Good grief, crawl back under your rock. Oh, I've got to get this guy off my screen. Thanks for watching.